Let's go swimming. Namaste, everybody. I'm Tamal Dodge. This is Kate. We're going to do another session of Yoga for Absolute Beginners. This rolled up towel we're going to use in our practice today, unless you have a yoga bolster at your home. So if you have a towel, I hope you do, you can go get it and you can roll it up like a little burrito, and we're going to utilize it. So Kate's going to start laying on her back, and we're going to take this rolled up little burrito and place it just underneath her shoulder blades, and she's going to lay back. She'll cactus her arms out to the sides. And you can either extend your legs straight out like Kate's doing, or you can bend your knees, get your feet wide, and knock your knees together. Whichever option feels good to you. What this is going to do is it creates this mild back bend. It broadens the sternum, the middle of your chest, and the collarbones, the clavicles, and it starts to lengthen and stretch out the front of the shoulders, the anterior deltoid, not to mention the pectoralis muscles. So we'll close your eyes. This will be our little starting point today. Bring attention to your inhales and your exhales. Smooth it out. Find the Paraka Rajaka, which means to take the breath in and to expel the breath out. And then, of course, we're looking for a natural pulse or rhythm, samaspriti, or balanced breathing, it's called. And once you find that breath, we make it audible, bringing in the aspect of ujjayi that we've rehearsed so many times, where at least the exhale sounds like you're fogging a mirror with your mouth shut. If you have the capabilities to manipulate that sound so it's resounding with the inhale and the exhale, that's always a nice option. And with every breath, notice how the front side of your body starts to release and open more. You start to feel the space in the abdomen, traveling all the way through the midline, maybe even up to the base of your neck, your throat area. It should feel really good. You know, so much of the time we associate yoga as something that is rigorous or vigorous and filled with continual movement, when there is so much benefit of holding something deeply restorative. Not only is this repairing our energy, our mood, but it is definitely doing some work of clearing out the congestion in our spine. We have another minute here. The kind of theme or mantra of today's practice is patience. We're just sitting with everything, no rush. I like to do this pose after a long day, maybe before bed. Spending 2 or 3 minutes on the back with this rolled up towel underneath the shoulder blades to fix any postural misalignments, especially if you work like a desk job or you're sitting in front of a computer, or even if you've just been looking down at your phone. Soak it in. So if your knees are bent, extend your legs forward. Let's reach your arms straight back. Hook your thumbs together. Point through your toes. Stretch from end to end. Keep what you have. Switch the crossing of the thumbs. We're balancing everything out, even the little details, those things that we think are insignificant. They all matter. And then you relax your arms by your sides. Rebend the knees. You can take this, you can lay on your back still. You can take the bolster or the towel out. Bring the legs in about hips width apart. You can take your rolled up towel or bolster and wedge it between your inner thighs and squeeze it so there's an adduction with a D. We plant the palms in the ground by the sides. and we lift the hips. So we want to make sure the toes are pointing forward or slightly inward. This is so strengthening for the inner groin and inner thigh area of having something to squeeze and hold it in place. So you either can keep your palms rooted on the floor, or I like to rest the pinky finger sides of my hands on the mat so I can karate chop the outer edge of the hands, wrists, and forearms into the floor. Yes. Breathe. Think about taking your tailbone and scooping it forward. So there's that little posterior tilt. So it's not so much of a lower back bend, more of a transference of energy in the upper part of your spine. Take an inhale, and as you exhale, bring your hips down. Keep the towel or bolster where it is, open your feet wide, and let those knees just knock together, pinching that towel. Let the sacrum and everything broaden. It's very mellow today for the most part. And then once again, we're going to bring the feet in about hips width apart. Keep squeezing what you got between your legs. You can either plant the palms or karate chop the outer edge of the hands into the floor. Lift the hips. So as you're adducting, the tail's drawing forward. This is going to make it more active now. Keep pinching what you have. Kick your right leg towards the front of your room. Yes. You can feel the outer glutes mildly engaging, firming in. Not a full clench or a squeeze. We switch sides, right foot down. Kick the left leg forward. Set the left foot down. Lift both feet up. I'm just kidding. Take a big inhale, lift the hips more. Then exhale, come on down. So you can move the towel off to the side. Open your feet wide again to the edges of your mat. Let both knees drop to the right and then to the left and then to the right, side to side. Loosening up your low back. It's also going to massage out any kind of tension that's in your hip sockets with the femur bones. Perfect. Come to center, hug the knees into the chest. So you can hold onto your knees or underneath your legs, holding onto the hamstrings, and you can rock up and down till you get enough momentum that you're at seated. Once you're at seated, you'll have your legs crossed. So one of the most common uses of a towel or a bolster is to place it underneath your sit bones. What this does is it prevents us from slouching, and it really helps us stack up the cervical, thoracic, and lumbar spine. So there's less strain in the pose. That way you're not sitting in meditation or preparing to drop deep into your breath work, meditating on any discomfort in your back. So keeping your hands on your knees for a moment. I want you to take an inhale and lift your chest and let your elbows bend as your palms drive into the knees. And then exhale, I want you to round your spine, lean back, let your arms straighten out. Then inhale, lift the chest, elbows bend. Then exhale, lean back, arms straighten out. So you're doing these seated variations of cat-cows. Yes. Anytime you're going to sit for long periods of time on the floor, it's always a good option to bust out a towel. So really we're trying to focus on how to use this as an aid or a prop in your practice today, and how to hopefully utilize it in your everyday life. So even if you're not practicing yoga and maybe you have kids and you want to sit on the floor with them and your back's been killing you, you can pull out a towel or a bolster. Me personally, I like sitting to eat on the floor. I think it's better that way. In most cultures of the world, they sit on the earth, sit on the floor, not at a table, and it helps create more mobility for them in the long run, because they're constantly having to get up and come down off of the floor, and they don't lose that range of motion. So come to center, cross your legs the other way, so we're balancing it out. What we're going to do is you're going to keep your hands on your knees. You're going to start to circle your torso in one direction. No, keep your hands on your knees, and you're going to circle the body. And as you're circling, you're going to bring your torso close to the floor and lean way back. Close to the floor and then lean back. So you're really playing with a wide range of motion and movement. You can get your arms into play here, letting them bend as you get close to the floor in front of you, then straighten them out as you lean further back. And then circle your torso in the opposing direction so it's all balanced out. We're really just playing with all this spinal elasticity. We started with creating mild back bend on the floor, then we got into a slightly deeper back bend with the bridge. Now we're playing with circular movements of the spine. And then we'll take a detour in a moment from all of that. Come to center. So, Kate's going to take her left hand and hold the outer right knee, and then she's going to take her right arm behind her, about 6 inches out from the tailbone, and climb onto the right fingertips. This is where she wanted to go anyway before. Take an inhale, lift your chest, then exhale, twist. So after we do the twist, we'll do a little lateral movement of the spine, and then we'll move away from all the back stuff, pretty much. And breathe. Whenever we're in a twist like this, it's like every inhale we're getting taller, getting longer, and then every exhale we rotate a little bit more. Take a big inhale, then exhale, switch sides. Right hand catches the outer left knee, the left hand cups the floor about 6, maybe 12 inches out from the tailbone. We ride the breath to create the space. Take a big inhale, and exhale, come to center. So now we're going to do a lateral movement. You're going to reach both arms straight up to the sky. We'll take the right hand out to the right and set it on the floor, climb onto the fingers, and then lean to the right. And notice how Kate's keeping her arm bent. That's a nice modified variation. If you want it more intensified, you slide the right arm away from you until it's straight. But notice if your left glute muscle, the left sit bone, starts to lift up. You want to root down in your left glute muscle. That way we can take full advantage of not only opening up the spine, but also creating a space in the serratus muscles. They look like finger imprints underneath your chest on your ribs, intercostal muscles, lat muscles. Take an inhale, then exhale, switch sides. Left hand out to the left, right arm reaches up, and then over. Now we're rooting down through our right sit bone, our right glute muscle. And then come back up to center. So here's the last lateral movement for our spine. Kate's going to reach her arms out to the sides like a T. She'll take her left hand and hold onto her right ear and gently pull her head away from her right shoulder, creating this opening of the side of the neck. Breathe. And this little practice we're doing right now would be such a wonderful way to end your day. So you can do it in the evening before bed. It's a relatively short practice. Take a big inhale, then exhale, switch sides. Right hand catches left ear. You pull the head away from the left shoulder. You can feel the SCMs, the sternocleidomastoids, lengthening out. And then inhale, come back to center. Let's extend your legs straight out in front of you. You can stay seated on your towel or bolster. I know, who knew you could use it for so many things, right? Use your hands to move your butt cheeks back, your glute muscles back. Then you're going to take your hands and hold onto one leg and move the bottom of your thigh out. Grab a hold of the other leg, move the bottom of the thigh out. This micro internal rotation of the hips is going to help structurally align what's going on there. Let's take an inhale, reach your arms up, sit up tall, then exhale, hinge and fold forward. So like we've talked about in previous classes, it's not necessarily bigger is better. If you can't touch your toes, that's absolutely fine. It's about what you're experiencing in the pose. So I want you to dorsiflex the feet. That means the toes point up and you can feel the front of the shin bones engage. If you can only touch your shins or your knees, that's fine, as long as your quads are engaging and you're pressing your thigh bones down. You should feel the muscle fibers in your hamstrings just opening up. Nice little trick is keep your chest low. Inhale, lift your head a little higher. Then exhale, let your head go down a little more. Just helps you get a little extra out of it. We breathe. If this is too intense for you, you can always take a t-shirt or a towel and loop it around your feet as kind of an extension pole for your arms. And from here you can sit up. So we're gonna move this towel out from underneath her sit bones. She's gonna keep her legs extended out, and then she's gonna take the sole of her left foot to her inner right thigh. So her legs are basically like this when she's seated. So the left knee, if you feel like it's too much for your hips, a nice option is to take the rolled up towel and slide it underneath the outer left thigh and knee, and that's gonna act as a prop. She's gonna dorsiflex her right foot, inhale, reach her arms up, and exhale, hinge and fold over the right leg. Again, it's not about having to touch the foot or go super deep. It's about what you're feeling in your legs. So she's still pressing her outer left thigh down in abduction, even though there's that little bolster or towel there. She's engaging her right thigh, but she's taking her left rib cage and rotating it slightly towards the right leg. So there's a micro twist there. We breathe. The hard part is trying to keep track of the inhales and exhales through all of this. You come on up, and we'll switch sides. So now you get this wonderful view of what's really going on here. We're going to take this bolster or towel underneath the outer right thigh. She dorsiflexes her left foot, so the foot's not dead, it's active. We inhale, reach the arms up, then exhale, hinge and fold over the left leg. So again, if you need to use a shirt or a towel or anything as like an extension pole looped over that left foot, that's always a good option. We're taking the right ribs and rotating it towards the left inner thigh. You can do the same thing we did in our seated forward bend. You inhale, lift the head higher, then exhale, let the head go out afterwards. I love how today we have the towel we're using and the bolsters is sitting here as like a prop, like set design. And we inhale, come all the way back up. Extend your legs straight out in front of you, shake them out a little bit. I'm going to use this to sit on for myself. You guys can take your hands either on top of your legs or you can bring your hands to prayer Anjali Mudra. Kate's going to sit cross-legged with us. Big inhale through the nose. Hold your breath at the top. Out of your mouth, let it go.